Baby Audio just released their second virtual instrument. This is Atoms, a physical modeling synth based on mass spring networks. What does all that mean and how good is this synth? Let's find out. I find it great that their second synth is not an emulation, because it shows they want to be always experimenting. But making a physical modeling instrument is very difficult, so let's see how good is this synth. Now keep in mind that this kind of synths won't give you your typical sounds, and the engine of this synth is very experimental. So let's hear how some presets sound, and then we start experimenting with it. The way it works is by simulating a bow, like from a violin, going through a mass of springs. It has 6 main parameters to affect the sound. This will change the behavior of the bow and the harmonic content and everything else, and at the bottom has more parameters to change the sound even further. For starters, even without touching the force knob, velocity will change how much pressure we apply. Of course, when increasing this parameter, it gets even stronger. Imagine if you're playing a violin and you apply more force to the bow. It will produce more harmonics, but also it will introduce some noise because of the pressure. We can also affect the bowing position on this virtual mass of springs by using the overtones parameter. This will not only give you brighter sounds, but also different harmonic content. Meaning it's not only making it brighter, but it can be really different, and on max settings you get almost only high harmonics. If you enjoy my reviews and you like that I have access to plugins before they release, give a like to the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance. As you see, this is a very musical and yet very texture-based synth. Order works like a damper, cutting high frequencies of the sound. Drive is soft clipping saturation, filter is a low-pass filter with resonance and a switch to increase the resonance even more, and chaos introduces pitch glides and detuning of the strings in a chaotic manner. So that's basically how you change the sound. But then at the bottom we have even more parameters. Besides the typical ones like the octave and the output gain, we have a selector that gives us 4 different profiles which change the nature of the mass spring network. We have standard, alternative, inharmonic and lo-fi. Each one is very different and will completely change the sound you get when moving the bow around. Then we have a simple AR envelope, meaning this synth has a set sustain at 100%. So if you want plugs, you will need to play short notes. Movement is an interesting one, because it makes the bow go back and forth, again like playing violin, cello, or whatever else. The speed can be set on hertz or sync it to your project. A bit unrelated, I know, but if you want to help me keep the lights on, consider becoming a patron or a member of the channel. You can get free presets and even a song feedback, or you can leave a super thanks and I will feature your comment at the end of the next video. There are other ways to support my content, all the information is in the description. On the other hand, Modulation changes the pickup location along the mass spring network. That will introduce changes in the timbre, and when you make it a little bit faster, it sounds almost like a chorus. The vibrato is self-explanatory, but also physical and not an effect applied to the sound. And space is a reverb with a classic Baby Audio XY control, where X is mix and Y is size. All of these parameters lets you experiment a lot, and most of the time you will get unpredictable results. It can be something noisy, something beautiful, something very distorted, whatever you can make or find. It has a simple modulation system where each of the 6 main parameters has an LFO with sine and saw waves or random, which is called drift. It can be synced, inverted, and changed to be free, retriggered by nodes, and one cycle, almost like an envelope. This little circle lets you copy and paste the modulation. As the latest baby of the plugins, it has a randomization button. In fact, it has 2. One will change everything, creating a whole new preset, and the other will use the current settings to make a variation. That means it's a small random. The lock will avoid some parameters to change, you can activate MPE controls, make the synth monophonic, disable the chaos parameters so you don't use too much CPU, stop all the sounds, and even change the skin. So this is clearly a very experimental synth, and I love it because I love experimental stuff. So let me know in the comments your thoughts. It might not be for everyone, but I had a lot of fun using it. So thank you so much for watching, I will see you next time, and bye bye!